Hi everybody, Johnny Vivento here. How you doing today? Been watching a few videos lately of the anti-Sarasota Tim brigade, and I just thought I'd come out here again to just tell you what I think about the stuff that's going on last week. It's kind of funny, you know. There's a guy, Anonymous Grifters Anonymous, sorry. He's a guy from Arizona. I think he's very funny. I do. I like listen to his videos. I watch it. Hey, Sarasota Tim, and I kind of enjoy it. I do. I think it's really, really funny. But last week, or actually a few days ago, I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago, he actually took down a video. He insinuated in one of his videos that Sarasota Tim had a friend, one of the guys from Vegas, and hey, Timmy in the back room there with his friend. Well, I thought he was talking about Miss Tammy, but he's talking about, or Miss Tammy or another lady or whatever, but he's actually talking about some dude insinuating something, I would imagine. I imagine that's why the video got brought down. Maybe he got some comments or whatever. Sarasota Tim, I don't know, hey man, hey, it's his private life. I don't know what to say, but he said that. I was like shocked. I said, there's nothing like that about Sarasota Tim. Not that we know of. Not that I've ever seen. And I doubt very, very much. It's not impossible. So, that really got me. So I said, man, I'm going to make a video about that, because I was like, wow, to come up with something like that, which, it's nothing really that warrants that kind of, narrative, really. I know that everyone out there, I told you, man, I didn't even graduate high school. I left school at 15 years old. I'm a street guy, I'm a city guy. I lived in many, many cities around the world. I've lived in like 7 or 8 different cities around the world in my time. And I'm an old guy. But I'm telling you, I knew a lot of the guys here are educated people. I knew that. I knew by the voice, by the stuff they were coming out with, narratives and whatever, and I just knew it. I just knew that they were quite educated. Probably master's degrees or whatever, MBAs, whatever. In fact, I'm the only one of my 3 siblings that doesn't have a really high education. My brother's an MBA twice, and my sister has a master's degree. So I'm just saying that I did it though. I made it in life, kind of. I did what I had to do. I'm kind of like Sarasota Tim in another kind of a way. So anyway, congratulations to all the educated people coming out here and spinning this anti-Sarasota Tim narrative. It's kind of amusing, and it's entertaining as well. It really is. And like some of these very clever kind of people like Darling and Miss Oil, they're doing like a cartoon kind of thing, and they're doing pretty well. They're doing well. It's kind of well produced. Whoever's doing it is doing a good job on that stuff. But then you've got others who are coming out, and showing their faces like I am. And I'm the only one on his side, I've seen. So it's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm still entertained by the ones who are anti-Sarasota Tim. It's entertaining to me. Even Miss Vicky, it's kind of funny, she's in her car. Yeah, Sarasota Tim, he did this. Did you hear we did that? Now, people like to watch Sarasota Tim making his eggs and bacon on the grill. For some reason they do. And even I do it. I watch him making coffee. Oh, it's a great cup of coffee. And by the way, this is the best glass of water I've ever had in my life. Okay? I'm kind of off coffee now. In Mexico here, I don't know whether you know this, that you can drink the water from the tap, okay, here in Mexico. So you buy it in big 2-3 gallon containers, okay, from the convenience store. You can have it delivered to your house. But, I'm in like a gated community, so it's tough for the guys to come in. What I have a water filter, okay, so I paid for this filter. It's actually free water filter. And it's like $20 a month, $25 a month, something like that. And it's well worth it. You know, the big container of water is actually only 20 pesos, which is only $1. Okay, but I paid $20 because I don't want to go on, I don't want to drag big containers of water here, you know. So I mean, it's great that I have a water filter, and it's awesome, you know, and it's really well worth it. If you ever come to Mexico, you ever rent or buy a place, let's say, always get the water filter. $20 a month. You can't go wrong, and it's free installation and a free system, which is amazing. Well, anyway, let's get back to this anyway, and what I was going to say, I don't know where I was now. Yeah, Miss Vicky, she's pretty funny. She's in the car. Oh, Sarasota Tim, and now the other, there's been quite a few in their cars on their way to work or whatever, and they do like a half-an-hour video about Sarasota Tim of what his exploits. Okay, it's been pretty funny. One of the good ones is Carl, the Bohemian Nomad, Bohemian Nomad, the guy with a beard. He has the best beard I've ever seen, I think. But anyway, he's pretty good, and I think he did a video today or yesterday. He's a lawyer, okay, and he's a lawyer. I knew it. I knew he was probably pretty smart. He's like a doctor, you know. He kind of knows what he's talking about. Well, anyway, he insinuated that Sarasota Tim has broken the law and he should be in jail. That's absolutely absurd, but okay, yeah, fair enough. Listen, if you break the law, you should be prosecuted. I don't care if you go to jail, don't go to jail, pay a big fine, whatever, you know, do some community service. It doesn't matter. If you break the law, you should you take the consequences, you know. It's as simple as that. So he is right if he's correct, okay? Now, I don't know, I haven't been into it, and I'm going to go through a few things that Sarasota Tim has done. Been through a few of his videos today, stuff that I haven't seen before. Well, anyway, to cut a long story short, Carl said, you know, Carl the Bohemian Nomad said that, okay, you know, he should be in jail for what he's done. He's committed some offenses. Okay, fair enough. It could be. He also said he would like to live in his van, which actually is not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind doing it myself. I'm being honest. I wouldn't mind getting a van and living in it, you know, in the United States, but I would never do it in Mexico. He said, you know, maybe he might consider coming to Mexico with his van, but I would not recommend it at all, okay? And there's reasons why. You know, when you cross okay, let's say you're in California or Arizona or even Texas. So you go through New Mexico, you're into Texas to El Paso, and you can go that way into Mexico. You can go through Tucson, Arizona, Nogales, or you can go through San Diego to Tijuana. Yeah, you can go through there, that's fine. Now, if you tell the Border Patrol that you're going for a day or two and you're on vacation, they'll let you go in. You can go into, you don't need anything to go into Mexico, you can just go in. Just drive through. Now, what you can do, you go in, and if you go further into Mexico, let's say you want to drive for a month in Mexico, you need a special card that you get at the border. It's 400, I think it's 400 US dollars. Okay, you get the card, you've got to show insurance, you get 400, I think it costs $400, and you will get the $400 reimbursed when you come out, as long as you don't overstay your visa, which is 6 months. You know, you're allowed to stay in Mexico for 6 months. So you can drive in, get the card, I forget what it's called now, but you get a card and they'll tell you at the border, and you come in, you go across the border and you come to a building, an administration building in Mexico, in Tijuana or Nogales or El Paso, and it costs $400, but you will get it on the way out, okay? As long as you haven't done any offenses, everything goes on the, you know, everything is registered, you know, with the data. And if you're all clear, you get your $400 back, okay? Now, if you go for 2 days into Mexico or a week even, the border will say, okay, you can go in. As long as you do come out again, you don't need, and there's no trouble, you can go in and out. You can actually, the thing is, in Mexico, you're going to be stopped, okay? You're going to be stopped every, I don't know, like 200-300 miles. You will get stopped at some point. I guarantee it. You know, I've done it a few times. Happens every single time. Guys, any American, Canadian who drives down, they will get stopped. You get stopped at tolls, and they're going to ask you. They might ask you for your papers for the car. Now, if you are outside one of the border cities, like Tijuana, let's say, Nogales or El Paso going into Juarez, I think you have a limit of 50 miles, I believe. Okay, if you're outside that radius, that 50-kilometer radius, I believe you're breaking the law. As long if you don't have that car, that $400 special dispensation that they have at the border. So, I think Carl, the Bohemian Nomad, wants to come to Mexico. I would recommend do not drive. Honestly, so many things have happened, like on the way, going south or whatever, or going over to the Gulf. Really, it just isn't worth it. I would never risk it. I wouldn't risk that in a million years, driving a van over there, especially a van. Of course, he's going to have a lot of belongings in a van, and people know he has a lot of belongings. It happened to me. You know, I drove a big truck to Puerto Vallarta a couple of years back with my wife. Like we split the driving, and we had all our belongings in the truck. You know, we could have been hijacked. We just didn't go at night. We just really kept real careful and kept to certain roads, which she has the experience and I don't. You know, I mean, she knew exactly the way. But anyway, I'd say, Carl, please don't do it. Don't risk it. It's not worth the risk. Come to Mexico, yeah, awesome. But you can drive within the United States. That's no problem. You know better than I do. But I would not recommend coming to Mexico. I just have to tell you, man, don't do it. You know, I've heard so many stories. You know, people having their belongings ripped off in certain towns. I mean, I live in a very safe city here in Puerto Vallarta, and there's a lot of safe cities out there. You know, you go to Mazatlan, let's say, which is in Sinaloa, but it's very, very heavily guarded because there's a lot of tourists. They don't want any trouble there. They just want to take people's money, and they don't want trouble. Even the cartels are not involved in these places, not in that kind of a way. They're involved in certain money laundering activities in every city, but not messing with the tourists or with people traveling. No. So, I would recommend no. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You know, really it isn't. I mean, I did it because I had to bring my household goods to Jalisco, to Puerto Vallarta, but I wouldn't recommend traveling around Mexico in a van. I just wouldn't recommend it, you know, really. And people do it. The thing is, though, I mean, it's good if you want to come here for a year or whatever. Carl, do it. Come with a wife for a year or two. Buy a van here, put Mexican plates on it, and then drive around. With American plates, I would never, ever recommend it. Not with the United States plates. I think you're from Illinois. It stands out too much. You know, it really does. They know who you are. We have a lot of Californians coming here, and some of them have trouble. I look in the expat sites. Some people have trouble, you know, so I'd recommend. And they get stopped. You know, you get stopped a lot because you're a gringo, and the cops think they can shake you down for some money. So I would recommend don't do it. My recommendation, you're a nice guy. Even though you're anti-Sarasota Tim, I know that you're an educated guy and you don't really mean it. Just a shout out to you. Anyway, that's all I got to say about the subject. Anyways, Miss Vicky, that's Carl, Anonymous, Grifters Anonymous. There's been a lot of others on there. Olive Oil, Miss Oil is another one. Darling. Barium Exposure, who said he's not going to come on anymore. I don't know why. He's doing quite well. He has a lot of subscribers. I don't have hardly any. He has a lot. I'm just out here having fun, and I'm happy to do it. It gives me something to do, and to be honest with you, anyway, we're getting back to Sarasota Tim. It's something it's something on my chest. I've really got to this is something that I've noticed. Okay, so in the past, I haven't watched every video. I really haven't. The ones I have, I don't have a lot of time. When I watch a video of Sarasota Tim for 5 minutes, I'm like, yeah, it's fun. You know, he's doing his bacon. Hey, I got some nice waffles and a great cup of coffee and all this stuff. And it's kind of pleasant to watch somebody living that way. Okay, now I'm having a nice steak and I made a nice fillet. Look at this one. I got the right marbling on my cowboy steak, my porterhouse or whatever. It's excellent. I got the sausages on the grill. I'm making eggs. I'm making muffins. Oh, I got some pancakes. I'm doing that. I'm going into Walmart. I'm buying this, that. I don't want that one. I want this one. You know, and it's kind of fun. You know, I kind of enjoy it. And even going to he shows us about the gas station, about emptying his grey or black box or whatever. It's not the grey box, right? He's emptying. It's fine. You know, I think it's fun. You know, I do. I'm like, wow, it's like a different life. You know, he gives us a little bit of encouragement that you can do it. And I do agree with a 62 retirement, I've got to tell you. So I don't care what they say, no, but sometimes there's been so many tragedies. Look at California right now. You know, there's tragedies out there. And you've got to understand this. Things happen in life. Sometimes you've got to push yourself to do something. I am going back to Denver, Colorado in a couple of weeks to work. Okay? I'm doing it because I'm living a lazy lifestyle here. You know, I do things. I go to the beach. You go on your bike. You go for walks. I went for a long walk today. I went for a long walk yesterday. Yeah, I do that. But my mind is not stimulated. You know, my mind is not stimulated. I'm watching a lot of videos on TV. I'm not into movies at all. I don't watch TV or movies. I'm into sport. Okay, so I watch a lot of sport, but I'm not stimulated. You know, intellectually, let's say. So I want to do something. I'm starting a little business again in Colorado, and I'm going back to work, and that's how I'm doing it. My kids are there, and you know, I might even move to Arizona. My daughter lives in Phoenix. She lives in South Mountain, Arizona. Beautiful place. Has a wonderful life there. But I'm just saying that you know, I want to do something different. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm kind of like him. You know, he's in Florida and he's doing his stuff and he's going to Walmart. And I do the same when I'm in the United States, of course. But I kind of enjoy him doing it. You know, I kind of enjoy watching, and I think most of his viewers do. He's doing well. He's got the 66,000 subscribers, which he has. He says he has 100, which is actually not true. So, how many people is he getting watching his videos? A couple of thousand. And all the people anti-Sarasota Tim are living off his name in the algorithm that I am doing as well. And I admit it, I am. If I didn't put his name, I wouldn't get any views. But I'm not even getting his views even with his name on there, to be honest with you. So anyway, okay, so let's get back to the point I was getting. Now, a lot of people are against him they don't believe that he retired and he had no money. I don't believe it either. Okay, and I'll tell you why. A few years back when he retired, he said, you know, I'm retiring at 62. I think it was that he had it in his mind to make videos about a guy who can retire, which you can do at 62. Anybody can do it, really, they can. If you're a minimalist, you can do it. Okay, now, it bothered me a little bit, okay, because I thought, wow, is he really that, not poor, but is he really that not so fortunate? I don't know, he's kind of a smart dude, and I think he could do better. I don't know anything about his work history. I know he's been a salesman and whatever. Well, anyway, what got me was the car. So he had a Toyota 4Runner. Kind of a nice car. It's not the car I would ever want, but it's okay. It's kind of a nice vehicle, very reliable and whatever. And he has his little trailer, doesn't he? He had that little trailer, the little one he bought. I even forget, the Wolf Pup, I think it was called. So he had the Wolf Pup and he had that and he's driving around and, oh, I'm doing what? All of a sudden, in a short space of time, he wants to buy a Toyota Tundra. And I thought, geez, That's incredible. Okay. And then he wants to buy the big RV that he bought. And because, I mean, that little wolf pup next to the Tundra doesn't look too good, does it? Well, anyway, so he buys that, and I thought, and he said, how was the deal? Oh, I got a great deal. Everybody says whenever they go to a car dealership, they got a great deal. It's not true. You don't get a great deal. When you go to a dealership, you don't get a great deal, but you're an American, you're a consumer, you want to do it. It's like my daughter, she bought a beautiful truck. I didn't want her to get it, but she got it. She said, Dad, I want that truck. And I said, it's too expensive. And she said, no, it isn't. I want it. Okay. She got it. Okay. Now she's got the big payments. Well, they're actually not that big, but they're payments. Okay. Which I didn't want her to have payments. But Sarasota Tim buys this big Tundra, and then he came out with a video saying it didn't cost me nothing. It was a straight trade. The owner of the dealership liked me. Well, I don't believe that. Okay, and I'll tell you why. There's no way an owner of a dealership or even the general manager, the CEO, is going to say, oh yeah, we'll do a straight swap. They're all in, it's business is business, man. It doesn't matter who you are. It really doesn't. His own brother, there's no way that he couldn't get that for nothing. So I believe he has payments on everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. He doesn't pay rent. He can afford the payments. He had the side gig. He has the YouTube, the side gig at the time, and he has his Social Security. So he's doing quite well. And luckily he's living, he could go to Walmart, the cheese, what is it called? Cracker Barrel. They allow you to put your RV there free every night, which is great, and I think he did that. And then he lived at Ted and Jolene's place in Florida, right? He had a spot there. And it was free, I guess. I guess he helped around the house, around the yard, which they appreciated. But anyway, so he had that. Now he's gone for the bigger truck, the F-250. I mean, these things are not free. They're expensive. The F-250, they're going up to like $90,000 US. Okay, so I just had to tell you. I mean, I think he has big payments. Okay, and I don't think everything's free. And you're not paying rent. Okay, you're sleeping. You're taking your RV to spots and rest stops. They're free. You can sleep there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you've got big insurance payments to have that car. The insurance is not cheap. Okay, the RV insurance is not cheap. The registration is not cheap. The maintenance is not cheap. Nothing's cheap. When you're in the United States, nothing is cheap. And I try and reiterate that to my kids all the time. You start your car in the morning, it costs money. Okay, nothing is free in the United States. Okay, nothing's free around the world. The whole world is in recession, but it's also the inflation rates everywhere are astronomical, just like they are in the U.S. Okay, let's hope Mr. Trump on the 20th of December straightens this whole mess out, and I think he will. Okay. I have faith in him, and that's one thing I agree with Sarasota Tim. Mr. Trump's not a guy that is right in a lot of things, but he will straighten the country out. Let's hope, And I'll tell you one thing about Mr. Trump, and if you're watching this video, please, I really hope you subscribe and press the like button on this, okay? Because I really have other things to say politically, but I'll tell you one thing. Since Mr. Trump won the election, you have not heard a peep from the Middle East. You have not heard a peep from Ukraine and Russia. Not a peep. And China is really, really quieting down because they're worried of the repercussions, okay? Have you heard a peep? I haven't. You watch the news. I don't see nothing, hardly anything about the Middle East anymore. Syria fell. Assad got the hell out of there with billions of dollars he stole from the country. He did it because Trump is coming. And Trump is not a guy to mess around with. He's straight. I mean, who else? What other president would say, okay, we're going to up our embassy in Tel Aviv and put it in Jerusalem? Man, he did it. Why? Because he feels in his heart that Israel belongs to the Jews, which it certainly does. Historically, they were expelled from the land, they fled the land, and it was theirs by right. I'm not saying that the poor Palestinians should suffer, and I really don't, it's just awful. Any war is awful, but what's right is right, and that's how he feels, I guess. But you don't like to see anybody die in a war, not one person. It's absolutely disgraceful what's happened, and this is 2025, and we should not be going through any kind of... We should have learned, okay? Of all the wars we've had around the world in the last 100 years, we should have learned. 100 years, come on, 200, 300 years. But we should have learned. Anyway, that's the only thing that I'm not sure about with Sarasota Tim, is those car deals and the RV deals. Believe me, it's not that simple, and I know he has good credit, but there's something there, that we don't know. Well, anyway, there's a lot of speculation from everybody that they seem to know. I mean, they think they know. I don't know how they know, but I don't think anybody knows where he lives or anything about his past, really. Not really. We don't really know. And his sister coming to visit, there was a lot of things about that. And his kids, they kind of seemed like standoffish when they were around him. I mean, his son especially in Miami. But we don't know. My son is standoffish with me. I mean, I'm not... He doesn't want me interfering in his life. And he's right. I mean, it's nothing to do with me. He's an adult. He can do what he wants. But dads are kind of like pushy, and you want your kids to do better. And but anyway, it's been great talking to you. And all I'm going to say, please subscribe, and I love you all. Okay? So take care. Have a great night.